Christmas for the cameras, and at night they're meeting in places like Denver to sacrifice babies.
Yeah.
Look at the fruits, the actions. And, you're trying to wake people up one person at a time to make them realize everything they're hearing is a lie.
Yep, but they don't want to believe that.
The real truth is always behind the scenes.
Their daily life, which at the end is going to be proved to be a worthless life because they've never woken up.
Yeah, most people just aren't going to get it until martial law hits, and then they're just going to think, martial law is martial law, but they don't understand the real hideous plans of martial law, what Oliver North did in '84 with Rex 84, planning all of these camps to just start hauling in Christians and patriots to get rid of them. And they plan on
Oliver North with his Rex 84. That was a blueprint conducting a small operation as a test bed for what the major operation is going to be. And all of the parts and pieces are already there. It's already been built. The whole apparatus, the technological advancements have all been made, to go along with the ideology that has been in existence for centuries, if not millennium. The technological advancements, the technological capabilities are all there. And not only all there, they're all here. Because the C3I infrastructure, communications, command, control, and intelligence, that's identified by the C3I acronym, all of that is here in Colorado, primarily in Colorado Springs.
Right, and so as we know, the western part, the western capital of the New World Order is Denver, and the eastern one is Atlanta.
That's my understanding. Its counterpart is Atlanta. It has similar facilities underground, but actually we have facilities here in stretching from Cheyenne, Wyoming down to Colorado Springs, and primarily is the military base complexes in Colorado Springs like no other place on the planet.
I got an email the other day from somebody that was in the armed services and just giving me some info, asking me if I knew anything about the Pentagon moving to Atlanta. Outside of Atlanta, the whole Pentagon moving under some underground facility over there. And I've never even heard of that one yet.
No, I've not heard of that yet myself, but that's not something that I would be really surprised in. In one way, I'd be surprised if they were moving it there. I'd be more inclined to think that they were going to be moving it out here. Because,
you would think, but maybe they don't want to put everything
there's more federal presence out here in Denver than anywhere in the country outside of Washington, D.C.
And the reason Denver is the capital is because they don't expect anything from California to the mountains of Denver to last, do they? They expect that all in the water.
Actually, when you look at the Earth Change map that's put out by Gordon Michael Scallion, this is beachfront property that appears in Aspen.
Yeah, Denver's going to be beachfront property, and I think it was also Nostradamus who had some kind of world disaster map or United States disaster map, and Denver was the coastline.
Yeah.
So that could either go up. Do you think it'll be earthquakes or Yellowstone going off, or a combination of everything plus HAARP on top of it?
Well, HAARP would be the instigating factor because. As anybody that's familiar with Tesla technology will certainly understand, is that earthquakes, we don't have to wait around for them to be created by Mother Nature.
Right, we don't have to worry about Mother Nature, we have to worry about HAARP.
We've been having probably have been creation of HAARP or HAARP-type facilities, because HAARP is not the only facility that is doing this, though HAARP is unique in its capabilities.
And HAARP is it's a weather management control weapon. The Russians had it 10 years before we did. And what they do, for those who don't know, is...
The facility that was out here in Colorado as a test bed was in 1976 in a little town north of Denver called Platteville. That's where they tested the concept of what's called ionospheric heating.
And they create...
That was peanuts in comparison to the capability of the HAARP facility in Tacona.
Right, and this weapon, this weather weapon, can create hurricanes. It can create thunderstorms, lightning. Can create tornadoes. Can create earthquakes.
It also can stop anything that it creates. All they got to do is change the frequency and change the wavelength, change the power level. What they can create, they can stop.
And it seems like their biggest test project
is Charlie.
Yeah, their biggest test project's been Florida last couple of years.
Yeah.
Andrew, starting with Andrew, probably earlier than that. But with Charlie, we've heard from people that live down there how the news isn't accurately reporting anything that really happened.
Pardon?
With Charlie? That the
Hurricane
news is
Charlie was
underreported.
heading straight for Tampa. It was dead on Tampa, and what's existing in Tampa is MacDill Air Force Base, where I used to be stationed. It's at the tip of a peninsula that juts out into Tampa Bay. And at MacDill Air Force Base is Central Command. That is the command structure for the control of the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, and also is the headquarters for U.S. Special Operations Command. Now, the entire war in Iraq is being conducted out of Central Command, out of Tampa. And Hurricane Charlie was dead on for Tampa, and all of a sudden it took a hike going northeast. Just a sudden change in course, what they say unpredictable. And you have all of these climatologists and weathermen and other observers scratching their head. Well, gee, how did that happen?
Because they don't have the classified information to tell them where this hurricane's going to start or stop or go, because they haven't been informed by the government yet.
Well,
has something to do with weather radars.
These idiots, I mean, the information is out there, you know, but these people are compartmentalized away from it. And if some of these people using their government computers would actually get online, I'm sure they would be chastised or worse. You know, but these people cannot be all lockstep stupid. These people are lockstep in line with the agenda.
Right. So we've got this kind of these underground power structures all over the place. We've got the command center there in Tampa. We've got NORAD in Colorado.
Well, not only NORAD, I mean, the U.S. Space Command is in Colorado Springs at Peterson Air Force Base. You have Northern Command, which is the military teeth of FEMA. That just came online. Their underground headquarters just came online back in November of last year. Conveniently enough, 2 weeks in advance of the NATO defense ministers meeting at the very well-known Broadmoor Resort in Colorado Springs. Also, east of Peterson Air Force Base is Shriver Air Force Base. Shriver is the command and control base that controls all GPS satellites. They do war gaming there. They have real-time virtual reality war games that are going on. East of that is the Space Warfare Center, which is directly linked. Its function is directly linked to the HARP project.
Right, and what powers this HARP is I've heard from an inside source within NASA, that there is a crystal facility in Colorado Springs, and it's very well secured, very well protected. There's these huge power crystals, and it's what generates the space station. Do you know anything about that? Well,
I've just recently started hearing about that, and I'm going to have to try and do some research on that. I don't know if there's very much
There's not a lot out there
on the Internet. It's going to be probably by chance that I come across some of it. But the HARP facility in Alaska itself is powered by a extremely large generation station that is powered by natural gas, overflow coming from the Alaskan fields. Again, that's ARCO.
Because what we're noticing is I'm in the orgone movement. I have a website, orgoneblasters.com, and we're noticing that these little orgone blasters that are powered by crystals as well emit positive energy that can take their dead energy right out of the air, can stop a tornado heading towards you, deadness tracks, can take the chemtrails right out of the sky that they're spewing all over you, and it can stop, ELF, electromagnet, the extremely low frequency waves, the radiation weapons that they have, and these little things themselves are combating everything that they're throwing at us. But the problem is we don't have enough of this spread all over the country to protect everybody. We got to get more people involved, getting these little orgone puffs planted everywhere.
Yeah, and you probably don't have crystals that are pure enough and large enough.
Yeah, you can get crystals, but the thing is, I'll tell you what, right now supplies aren't limited. The problem is just getting people involved to do something. People that will believe that what you're saying is actually true. People that get tired of being alpha-attacked every day, sitting in their homes, getting headaches, getting disease, getting panic attacks. These cell towers everywhere, and they're not cell towers. They're just towers with awful contraptions on them.
Well, too many people believe it's all New Agey stuff, and